Well, let's get into picks and bans for game number 2, because there is a third point from the first game that I wanted to bring up, but it's really about this spot. So we talked about the team fight composition coming out from Dignitas, allowing them to just kind of do whatever they wanted as far as playing the game on their own terms. We talked about the healing and the lack of opposition against it from Team Rival, and the question mark in the middle lane. We saw the transition from PandaCat playing mid. He picked the Giannis. Things didn't go his way.
Especially at the end of that game when he got blinked on in 2 different instances. The first one was Trixtank blinking past the middle Phoenix, kind of like question mark of like, hey, I'm here. Didn't pop any relics.
Sure.
Didn't matter. He didn't need to. Nothing, no follow-up after that. But the second blink from Variety is where it really mattered. The blink, Terra ultimate, all the follow-up damage. PandaCat didn't use any relics, and he died right away, and that was just a clean Titan kill afterwards.
So those are actually, that's not where I would have issue with PandaCat. I think I had issue with PandaCat as King Arthur makes it through picks and bans, and will be Rival's first selection, likely in the hands of Fineokay. For me, I think the issue with the Giannis selection was we saw the ultimate be used a little bit too offensively instead of for utility. Very rarely did we see those portals get used, and we saw PandaCat just make some questionable plays. Not the god. Yaman even mentioned it on Twitter, right? When we see players new to the mid lane position, you go Giannis, because if you have a poor game, you can still help your team out some way. It didn't work out. I want to see almost any other mage in the hands of PandaCat this time
It's
around.
a little thematic, actually, the fact that PandaCat was the first death of the game and the very last one to wrap things up. So an unfortunate set of circumstances for Rival. I still have high hopes for them in this set. It is a best of 5. They do have to win at least 3 to topple over Dignitas.
Well, the first round of picks are over. King Arthur, Achilles, and Kronos, which might find its way into the hands of PandaCat for Team Rival. Dignitas on the other side. They've got Fineokay for the long lane. Ardio and Ratatasker will join the likes of those guys. The Isis ban is very interesting here, Toli. And the reason I bring up the Isis ban is because I think that Isis is an undervalued pick at the moment, specifically for how Rival lost the last game. Getting sieged on, just getting walked over, Circle of Protection can stop that for a number of reasons. So I think Dignitas banning this out allows them to say, all right, we won last game with this strategy. We can continue that strategy as long as Rival doesn't adapt, and they're taking away some of the adaptation options.
It could be a sign that Dignitas want to go for some channeled abilities. One of them is already Ardio. It's just a lot of space control between the Isis and the Zhonghui ban, so it leads me to believe that they're afraid of this kind of team fighting potential that Rival is thinking of.
Exactly. Dignitas sticking to their team fight idea so far. They're at a Tasker that was banned away last game, now selected here by Dignitas. Bacchus still available as well, which would be excellent, and Isis does very well. So does Zhonghui against the Bacchus, both of them having interrupts for the burp, and of course Isis being knock-up immune during the wing gust. So Dignitas thinking about what Rival could ban here. It'll be the Morrigan. A strong ban. A strong ban in its own right.
Hurriwind does prefer that from time to time. Morrigan is a god that it's difficult to contest the pushing power of.
Sure.
If you're able to hold it, then you can keep your red buff safely. But 9 times out of 10, your red buff is in jeopardy when you're dealing with a Morrigan.
So Team Dignitas, trying to figure things out. I think here I would like to see a Bacchus here. Ardio can play in the solo, or I mean, hell, even Variety can play solo. Well, solo Bacchus against the King Arthur, right? So last time, the only time I've ever really loved the Arthur matchup, Ardio has been sort of the placeholder here as Dignitas think about taking Giannis for Hurriwind. Recently, we saw the Camazotz at the minor league level. Coach Alpha Jackal, coaching Team Queso, the team out of Spain, selected Camazotz solo to deal with King Arthur, and instead of trying to keep Arthur in check, just out-sustained the warrior, and that was the approach. So that's still something you can think about.
And that was without maxing out the Vampire Bats as well. Was maxing out that first ability instead. So it does make sense. You have 2 abilities to clear. I'm not sure if Dignitas were watching that game or not, but they already have the Ardio. You could just stick that in the solo lane, have the cripple to avoid 3 of the 6 non-ultimate abilities. You have some sustain on your own front as well. And knowing Variety playing the Terra Guardian last game, like you were mentioning with the Bacchus pick, can easily be played for Trixtank on the Bacchus. and then Arkyll for variety. I think Xbalanque and Bacchus has great synergy. Intoxicate and Darkest of Nights are kind of still wobbling. It's easier to get stunned. And also the Xbalanque ultimate synergizing with through the Cosmos. The global pressure from Dignitas now. They have the Rat, Giannis, and Xbalanque. It's going to be tricky for the side lanes, specifically the solo lane for Fineokay.
Rival now on the clock, looking for their last 2 selections. They've got half a minute or so. King Arthur likely to find himself in the solo lane, Achilles in the jungle. Of course, PolarBearMike still an option. Kronos, right now PandaCat taking part of the conversation. Is the Kronos for the mid lane Panda, or is this going to wind up in the hands of Arkyll?
Not sure. I think Hachiman would have. Oh
There
no,
it is.
Discordia is the selection. So if you're looking to be offensive with Arthur, you got to have that Discordia passive.
Discordia is going to work out here. Bacchus being locked in as well. It is going to be a juke. It's Fenrir, baby. So Fenrir showing up. I think the large conversation was, can Fenrir fight into the Ardio? Because that is a matchup that goes in Ardio's direction. We'll see. And there it is, baby. The new tech, Camazot's coming through. Now, this is a move away from the team fight strategy that we saw in game number 1. But Dignitas, and I really do think this is going to be Zot's in the solo lane.
Oh, yeah.
If it is, that's the new tech. Bring out the bats to take care of the king. Dignitas rival, game 2.
Thanks a lot, Tom and Tolly. Yeah, the Camazots is a pick that we saw a little bit earlier this week in the minor league. I believe it was Team Queso were the first ones to actually show us on broadcast exactly what goes down with this Camazots matchup versus King Arthur. Is that what we're going to see here?
I would prefer to see, I think, the Camazots into the King Arthur, just because Kama has so much self-sustain as is, and you want to prioritize early aggression from Camazots. You don't have to necessarily attack the wave, and I think that that's one of the main reasons why we might continue to see this Camazots rise more and more up into the King Arthur matchup.
Yeah, a lot of what King Arthur wants to do is slowly whittle you down with consistent pokes. The thing is, that's what Camazots likes to do too, but he's also got natural sustain in his kit that can cause a lot of problems. We'll see if this works out for them. The draft overall, though, how are we feeling about a Kronos in the duo lane?
I don't mind seeing Kronos in the duo lane. I'm not going to lie, though. I definitely was hoping that it would be for PandaCat, because it's that pseudo-hunter playstyle that Panda in first opening set, I think it might have been important to have him on something that feels a little bit more Hunter-esque, but if he's feeling confident on the Discordia, Strife and Unruly Magic can be excellent tools for combating a Giannis. Just keeping him locked down in one spot might be the small gaps that Rival need to effectively punish the Giannis from getting away.
Well, here comes the Dignitas Goon Squad to check out Rival's speed buff. Trixtank, Variety, going to hang around here and try and cause some problems. Meanwhile, PolarBearMike proxying between Tier 1 and Tier 2. Not really proxying, using the rotational ability, not being spotted to get to the speed buff and steal that one away from QvoFred. But if you look at QvoFred, he doesn't care about his speed. He's adapted. He's evolved. He's looking to try and gank or get a purple. The difference is, Rival have wards down on the left-hand side of the map.
Trixtank and Variety have wasted enough of Rival's time, though, that there is going to still be a little bit of that jungle delay on the clear attempt. CaptainTwig almost lost that speed buff to Trixtank also, but
Not much of a delay, Taco.
a little bit too late to the mark there for Trixtank.
Twig might actually find QvoFred trying to do the buff now at the same time. This could be doom and gloom for Dignitas. Sure, Qvo gets the red buff, but can he get away? It looks like he will. Hurriwind was there in support if required. But so far, it's just a buff each for the two junglers, as Twig's still giving chase here.
Ataraxia and Hurriwind were both flanking up along the sides, though, just to prompt Twig away from looking at Dignitas' own red buff. And it was actually CaptainTwig who managed to out-secure Qvo on PandaCat's red, so now PandaCat gonna have the benefits of getting to match against Hurriwind, but Hurriwind won't take the red buff, actually forfeiting it early on to Ataraxia. Good call, though, between the two.
Like some pretty good work on this Fenrir so far, and looking to make it even better as he gets the beads out of Hurriwind. Nice bit of damage as well from the Brutalize on top of that. He's already stolen away the speed and the blue buff from Dignitas' jungle.
So far, so good for the Fenrir, and this is kind of what Mike has to do. He just has to match this aggressive rotations from Trixtank. And Trixtank now looking to try and contest on these right mid harpies, but QvoFred blinking over the wall, gonna catch PolarBearMike off guard, having already expended the Unchained. Easy first blood for Dignitas.
That time was perfect. You said consuming the, using the Unchained there. He used it to try and secure the camp, and the moment he does, the blink arrived. and that was death there. Fineokay, though, showing variety. It's not that easy to fight King Arthur's Kamazots. We say that, but look at the sustain, Taco. Look at that Kama. Level 2, down a level, but still able to heal back up.
Yeah, Fineokay is not having the easiest time about it, but with the Vampiric Bats being off the mark, Fineokay feeling a little bit frisky to want to step up. Variety, though, just healing so much off of these archers stacking up on each other. And QvoFred wanted to go in for the gank. Fineokay probably didn't even know he was there.
Not much you can really do. Now, Variety's going to be able to continue sustaining off the wave. The leap, don't forget, does give a bit of sustain too. Not just the second ability as Qvo. Pressure in mid lane, level 3. We approach 3 minutes in. I'm looking at the golden experience. It looks like Dig's got the slight lead in terms of gold right now, especially with the kill onto PolarBearMike that kind of slowed down the experience the rival once had.
Trouble for Rival, though, is now Fineokay's blue buff being looked at because of all the pressure Variety managed to establish with this Kamazots in solo lane, and it's a steal.
Nice little stomp from Trixtank, did connect there, but no follow-up from Hurriwind. More focus towards the wave as Twig gets re-aggressive. And when he had Mike and PandaCat behind him too on this Discordia. Meanwhile, mid lane, watch QvoFred, he's swinging around the back, and I don't think Rival have seen this just yet. They're looking at Trixtank.
PandaCat might be the first one to go down here, but instead it's going to be Qvo taking a gander over at CaptainTwig. Ataraxia with the rotation in.
Again? Every single time that first fight seems to kick off, Ataraxia seems to time it perfectly on these rotations.
He was just going for his red buff, and then he sees an opportunity in the mid lane to just shuffle on over, and Dignitas have caught Rival off guard, I think, 2 times now. That has led to very promising picks for both of them, because now Dignitas with that pick, they're not only setting CaptainTwig a little bit further behind on the Achilles jungle, which is bad enough as is, but they also get to look at the left and right mid Harpies almost uncontested.
Now, the whole start of this game as well, if you remember last week, we saw these invasions on speed buffs and people trying to slow it down. Dignitas have done the same thing. This week, they've been trying to slow down CaptainTwig in the jungle, who's only level 3. But they're looking for a combo onto Variety here, who is level 5. He's got his ultimate available, leaps for the sustain, and looking for the kill onto King Arthur. There's no surviving there. He 2v1s nicely. It was a nice attempt from Rival. He just didn't have the right window.
CaptainTwig also wasn't level 5 yet. Even if he was level 5, I don't even think he would have been able to find the Fatal Strike. It was just Fineokay taking a chance that CaptainTwig might be able to help him find the damage to bring this Kama down. But with that having gone south, now I think Rival have to start being a little bit concerned about this Kamazots pick. Originally, if it was just a Kamazots pressuring King Arthur from doing King Arthur stuff early on, not that awful, because you could still recover it in the team fighting stages. I think that King Arthur definitely provides a little bit more so to the engagements oftentimes in comparison to a Kamazots, but giving Variety such a massive lead, this is going to pose a lot of issues now for Rival trying to recover the right side of the map.
Root looking for CaptainTwig at the moment as QvoFred takes to the sky, looking for the ultimate on 3 targets and finds 2. Twig knocked up, Twig dead. Level 4 for PolarBearMike, leaps back to safety. Hurriwind did use the space and time there, more than as an escape route if required for his team, and to support too, but Dignitas didn't really need him. They find the pick on Twig.
And
This
again,
is looking really good, Taco.
This is looking clean from Dignitas. Rival, on the other hand, definitely still pretty rough around the edges here. And I also think that Dignitas, one thing that they're excellent at doing or showcasing so far is responsive drafting. I don't think that Dignitas is a team that comes into a set with a pre-planned draft strategy. I think that they're a team where they see what their enemy is going with.
Okay, fine.
Okay, fine, okay.
Okay, fine. Variety, will you just get out of there, please? Oh, look at this sustain! This is mad. Fineokay just used 2 Excalibur ultimates, and Variety went K. What else you got? You're not going to kill me solo at this rate. I love the patience from Variety too, to hold on to his abilities, not panic too much. I'd be worried now and again when I get too low to 20% that I might end up dying, but Variety just seems to be whacking away and knows exactly what he needs to do here.
Both Variety and Fineokay have the Glass Shield, but it seems like it's working out a little bit better for Fineokay instead. Variety, having used a dump again, might be able to get Variety's ultimate here. Left-hand
side, though, look at PolarBearMike, looking for a potential pick on Ataraxia. Finds the leap, gets the ultimate, and gets the beads out of Ataraxia. Did manage to hold on to the Darkest of Nights, though, but that was beads consumed as Fineokay will find his, I think that's 4 so far.
Fineokay's got to get out, though. Doesn't realize that QvoFred's right behind him. Acorn Blast could not have been better time, but Variety went too far ahead.
I think Variety went back on himself a little bit, worried that there was a further aggression there, or expected Fineokay to juke, so didn't find the kill. End of the day, it will just be a bit of a reset in that solo lane. As 4-0 it stands. And going back to the start of this game, Tack, I keep trying to say it, like Dignitas last week, the invasion speed buff has been the focus. QvoFred hasn't gone to his speed yet in 2 games. He's been more focused on the left-hand side of the map, making sure that if rival do invade, they still get experience for their jungler on the other side of the map.
The speed buff's a second thought now to QvoFred. I think that he started to realize the dual lane might be a better shift of priority because Variety already has so much control over the solo lane. I actually want to see less of Qvo trying to look for rotations because while they might be able to punish Fineokay, Fine has already displayed that he knows how to recover. I think he's done an excellent job at bringing this lane back under his control.
Well, right hand side now, Fineokay going to find another ultimate there. He's at half health. He's going to be careful himself there. Jukes on the abilities, but QvoFred's going up, and this could be a chance, but I think Rival spotted this as well. Fineokay's going to try and buy as much time as possible with spin into high heaven, and hope Twig turns up.
And Twig has turned up just in time. PandaCat going to get credits for it, though, with the Strife over the wall, and Variety, the raid boss, has finally fallen.
Space and time was used by Hurriwind there as well, but as you said, Variety did fall down, so as long as Fineokay can stay alive in this lane and wait for the rotations, it was well timed from Rival. They sniffed it out.
Trouble for QvoFred, though, as CaptainTwig and Fineokay looking for the dives. Execute range is available here on the QvoFred, but the Fatal Strike not even needed. Hurriwind, though, trying to punish CaptainTwig wherever he may, but with that unstable Vortex failing to connect, I don't see how Dignitas find anybody here.
Got him! Trixtank over the wall, got the shot off, cancels the back out of Fineokay. Fineokay with some sustain, but not enough to survive the onslaught of Trix and Hurriwind combining there. Variety TP's back in, and it's 5-2, almost 9 minutes in.
The life RNG wasn't with Fineokay on that back. I'm surprised that Trixtank even knew where to look for him.
I think he threw that out hopeful, more than anything else. He had an idea because of the minion wave, but hang on, left-hand side. Ataraxia no beats this time. But Mike doesn't have any support. He's trying to 1v1 a level 10 Xbalanque, but he's having the better end of it. The leap from the Unchained off the mark, but Ataraxia's not going to box. He's just trying to survive and hope for backup. It's too late. Mike gets a solo kill on Ataraxia. He does not look happy on the player cam right now, as Trix is in here, and he's got him crippled.
Punished where it needed to happen, but at the same time, it's Mike. He's a support, and it's a support that brings him down. But Ataraxia being dead here is huge for Arkyll. He's going to have all this time to continue to just freely farm.
I'm talking about Arkyll. Going for the Bancroft's talent rush here, so plenty of sustain on this Chronos for the time being. Mainly focused on farm in the early game as a Chronos, correct?
Early game Chronos is all about the farm. You can look to play aggressive, I think, into matchups like this one against Ataraxia on the Xbalanque, but that's why I love seeing Mike look to pressure Ataraxia so often, because that Brutalize, being able to follow the Rising Jaguar, is causing so many problems.
Variety has spent 90% of this game so far in the air, either by choice or not by choice. This time, it won't be by choice. He has to ult away defensively as Twig and Fineokay try to keep the pressure going. Mid lane, gank from QvoFred gets punished by PandaCat there with a nice little apple to force the rat back to safety, but Twig is on the aggression, wrapping around the right-hand side. He won't find QvoFred, but he will find some back harpies.
And that golden apple cripple might also be a large part of the reason why PandaCat wanted this Discordia to begin with. Fighting cripple with cripple, essentially, except the spread opportunities for PandaCat, if Dignitas aren't careful, would definitely lead to some devastating results.
Variety, Fineokay going at it. Trixtank back to the right-hand side, maybe looking for some pressure. Won't really find any as Fineokay sniffed out the danger and walked away for now. I'm talking about PandaCat in the mid lane on Discordia. They seem to, so far in the 2 games we've seen PandaCat play in, give him these gods that have good CC immune ultimates to escape danger, and also some pretty good mobility. You can sit at the backline a lot. Bit risky with Discordia though, like her damage is unreliable a little bit. You've got to be quite close in range to find it.
Early game, it can be unreliable, but not if you have Trixtank being brought right underneath your T1 tower. Mike, though, having his Brutalize cut short by a great portal from Hurry.
Right-hand side, looking for Fineokay. Fineokay kept bringing Excalibur out, but Kamazots will survive and sustain. The solo lane battles continue, and both junglers have a lot of attention over here, too.
Fineokay, I think, just got a little bit ahead of himself. Should have probably played back knowing that PandaCat and Mike were looking to be aggressive in the mid lane.
Look at these changes from Rival, though. 2 members already with anti-heal, less than 12 minutes in. And we've got a Brawler's Beatstick and a Divine Ruin online for CaptainTwig and PandaCat, respectively. The one thing about that tackle, that does technically lower their damage output, because you'd normally like a little bit more power from a mage at this point, and for the jungle, a little bit of cooldown, right? That's kind of what you're after.
You want a little bit of cooldown, sure, but Achilles, I think, is one of those gods that can afford to go for the anti-heal options. Plus, Brawlers in general deals great damage still, and I don't even think that CaptainTwig really needs to prioritize his cooldowns this match. So much as Rival just need to confirm kills. I think that that was definitely something that came back to bite them in the butt last game, where they got a lot of Dignitas targets to that low HP threshold, but it always felt like they were falling short as far as the cleanup was concerned. Now, with all of this anti-heal so early on, I think Dignitas are going to have a lot more issues in teamfight engagement surrounding the Gold Fury, even just general jungle choke points with resustaining and then reinitiating.
Also, the fact they've got an execute with CaptainTwig here, so making sure the enemy Dignitas can't heal so well will make an impact to allow him to maybe get that fatal strike off a couple more times in these engagements. Build for Twig, though. He's already got Talaria boots, so mobile with the speed buff too, of course. But now it looks like it may be a wing blade. Is that what we're going to see next? There is quite a few slows that Dignitas have.
There's a lot of slows that Dignitas have. Wing blade wouldn't be the worst case scenario here for Twig, and having a little bit of extra health as well could definitely bode well for this Achilles. Although, I will say, Rival have definitely done a great job at letting Arkyll kind of just do his own thing over there in the Chronos. That's the big thing that I'm keeping an eye out for.
Darkest and nice used early by Ataraxia to try and help out his team around PolarBearMike. Won't actually find the kill whatsoever there, but that was an interesting ult.
I think Ataraxia thought that Dignitas could kill PolarBearMike, and then Dignitas decided against it.
Right-hand side, Twig going to come in on Variety, and Variety under pressure now gets to the sky in time, has to swoop to safety. The rest of his team, though, starting to position around the Gold Fury. War coverage from Rival's going to be there. Not really going to have an opportunity for Ataraxia and Qvo to take it. It's a failed gank opportunity.
But look at the respect from Rival. Even though they could look to try and dive Variety, they just automatically assume, okay, we didn't bring him down now. Anybody could be coming at any second. Get out. And it's that team communication, I think, that seems like a little thing in the moment, but it actually does amount to much bigger plays later on. And this Giannis threat that Rivals seem to constantly be under has definitely restricted a lot of their early game aggression.
Well, it looks like a Shillelagh into a Blackthorn Hammer for Fineokay now as well, so plenty of health and plenty of mana. Regeneration and cooldown from that, so it would keep him in the fray a little bit longer to go with the Gladiator Shield.
This is also a super aggressive build from Mike. I've got to add that in. He's got the Blackthorn Hammer and the Warrior Tabi, so no real surprises that Ataraxia is forced to play back to his T1 tower line, because if he tries to tango with Mike, we already saw who wins those.
Trick's a little bit far forward, but that beautiful portal from Hurriwind gets him away. Oh, Fineokay got him! He's taken down Camazotz finally! It's only taken him a billion ults. QvoFred though jumps in, uses the portal through space and time, but it wasn't the best one in the world. It was unfortunate, and Hurriwind could only watch as QvoFred dies in the jungle. Great play from Rival as they start to rotate to the Gold Fury.
PandaCat didn't even bat an eye, just immediately launched the Discordia Golden Apple onto QvoFred. We saw Qvo, he was sitting on that portal, let me go, but never made it through. Didn't use his beads either, but even if he had, I think the burst damage would have killed him.
Rival get a Gold Fury. Fineokay gets a solo kill on Variety straight after. QvoFred dies in the jungle, and Rival find themselves a window to actually take a lead in the game. They're down in kills, but they're so far technically up in gold.
Hey, Camazotz loves to scrap, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he'll come out on top of it every single time. And as the game goes later and later, and this is something that we brought up right at the very start, that Camazotz, sure, he can be a little bit of a lane bully, but Fineokay, I think, is on the road to having a much more impactful mid to late game.
I feel like both these solo laners that are being played today will bring a big impact to the team fights. Fineokay has the potential, especially with a blink, to use Excalibur on one of the squishes and take him out of the fray for a while. But Variety, well, he can whack away in a team fight for quite a considerable amount of time as long as he can resustain, which is something that Rival are trying to prevent. Right now, Variety forced to defensively ult, and here comes the through space and time. The train of Dignitas has arrived at the station, but Rival, well, they've already left.
But since their space and time is down, now Rival have an opportunity for a counter grouping. PolarBearMike pops the Brutalize, but it's the blink from Fineokay onto QvoFred deep into the heart of Dignitas' jungle.
Yeah, Fineokay really went heavy there looking for that pick with the blink, but didn't find it. They were looking to make a play after getting the Gold Fury. If they find a pick here, Taco, that turns into a Pyro, which could turn into a Tier 1 tower after the fact, so it makes a lot of sense. Right, gotta be careful now. No ultimate available for him in this laning phase. He's got to be a little bit more careful about his positioning in case he sees a rotation coming.
Variety, though, still wanting to play aggressive into Fineokay as often as possible. There are times where he's definitely getting a decent chunk out of Fineokay's health, but now it's Ataraxia who's got to be careful of PolarBearMike. PVM, though, level 12 versus level 16, not always a fight you want to take.
Okay, two fights going at the same time. Apple of the Day does not keep, well, he does keep Qvo away, I'll say. He gets a pick up there. Variety gets soloed by Fineokay onto his tower again. Left-hand side, Rival take a Tier 1. Rival are in the driving seat. They've really managed to get some pressure going. And in all fairness, it was from Fineokay getting that solo kill that everything seemed to start coming up in their favor.
PolarBearMike trying to play aggressive now into Ataraxia, but going to be off the mark with that Unchained. Cripple Field from Trixtank is going to lock down PolarBearMike for a little bit here, but Ataraxia can't find the damage just yet. Shell will be forced, though, out of Mike.
Ooh, so close for that space and time to hit, but he will escape as well.
Mike probably has no idea.
Yeah, watch that back.
I think his tail fur just got clipped.
It did, just a little bit singed, right? Wasn't too much. 7-7 then. 18 minutes in the game. Dignitas up 1-0 in this best of 5.
This Discordia, by the way, has made a world of difference for PandaCat in the mid lane. He has punished Qvo twice now for overstepping on this Ratatoskr. It's like if Qvo doesn't find the kill that he's looking for initially, then all PandaCat has to do is toss that golden apple on top of his head. It's just so much burst damage, and it prevents the Ratatoskr from having a dash away.
Hurriwind was looking for a cheeky steal over the wall there, but Rival take away the Pyromancer. Dignitas not in a position to do anything. Fineokay was looking at Qvo. Went for a big-time ultimate there, but wasn't able to find it. Instead, Fineokay result to whittling away at the Camazots again. 2-level lead for King Arthur, and maybe Camazots isn't the pick to end King Arthur after all.
If you can get the snowball going, I definitely think that it's a viable strategy, and Variety took his chances. Qvo tried to assist where he could. Trixtank tried to assist where he could. It just all comes back to the fact that Fineokay really show Variety who the true king is.
Everyone coming into this weren't sure which way it'll go. We were all hoping for 4 or 5 games, and I think we may get that right now. 2 fights going on. Qvo forced to ult away as Trixtank ulted into the sky by Fineokay. Oh, the dragon connects into the dog's mouth as well. And there's 3 ults combining. Arkyll actually getting credit for the kill there. Arkyll has now grouped up level 18. Kronos can really do some tower damage.
PolarBearMike has had enough of Trixtank going on his own into Team Rival, trying to show a threatening presence. He's just ulting him now. Every single Ragnarok that I've seen recently from Mike has been geared either towards Trixtank or Ataraxia, so heavy beatdown of Dignitas' dual lane, and they're certainly struggling from it.
Bit of a trap being set up by Rival in the jungle here. A lot of ward coverage for them to make sure they've got vision around this left-hand jungle of Dignitas. And Ataraxia and QvoFred may both show their faces. Qvo got a tail of an idea of something going on over there, but Ataraxia is still thinking about going in. He sees Arkyll, and that's the end of the pressure for now. But the pressure was good enough to get them a red buff potentially on this left-hand side, at the same time as a Fury is about to spawn too.
Peep the itemization choices also from Arkyll. A little bit unconventional here on this Kronos. Obsidian, Pen Boots, and Bancrofts, not that unusual to see, but the Jade Emperor's Crown. Now, that's an interesting sight, and I was expecting it to be a helmet on his head. I really thought he was just leaning towards that Celestial Legion helmet, but seeing the Jade instead.
We'll see how that works out with him. I mean, it gives him some protection, a little bit of power, a bit of everything, I guess is the best way of looking at that. But this next Fury could be quite important. Full minion wave on the left-hand side. Someone needs to go and clear that from Rival's point of view. They're really after the oracles here, making sure they get a bit of vision around the Primal Fury just in case. Primal Fury definitely worthwhile. Helps a little bit in terms of clearing buffs in the jungle, specifically Fire Giant, which at the 25-minute mark will be a little bit stronger and trickier to take down, but the Primal Fury does help with that.
Ataraxia, he's got vision through space and time,
Only
gonna
Twig.
hit only Twig, and Twig doesn't really seem to mind.
You see what Fineokay just did there? Hurriwind came through the pole, went, "Hi guys," and Fineokay went, "No, you will not play." QvoFred making sure they don't play the Gold Fury right now, as Variety has to swoop away. Trixtank's already dead by the burst damage from Arkyll and the rest of Rival. Variety now under pressure, gets a portal from Hurriwind away. On the back of this fight though, Fineokay has found Jabalonke, and Ataraxia goes down onto a killing spree. The rest of Rival are back towards the Primal Fury.
All of Dignitas just sent scurrying right now. Aega's going to get forced out of Hurriwind. Still looking for the portal of escape here, but he's not going to be able to find it. Fineokay and CaptainTwig joining forces, and Variety could very well be next.
Variety just trying to hold on and keep them busy, but for how long? He's got no real escape as Mike comes in too. The execute was used, but Mike's brutalized damage would already be enough. QvoFred on the left-hand side, meanwhile, is looking at two carries.
No.
Thinking about a cheeky pick. Do they see him?
Don't do it.
Blink. He's got no blink. He's going to go in on both. No, low mana on Arkyll, but not low enough that he can't cast abilities. He's delayed the back. I guess that's just going to prevent a Fire Giant take more than anything else, with the respawn still required.
I think Qvo should just be happy he didn't die there. If Arkyll had his 3 primed and ready to go, then Qvo was in a whole different world of trouble. But Qvo, his efforts won't go for nothing. He does take away PandaCat's red buff, but gotta be careful now. Look at Mike cutting up really deep here. I think he's actually gonna be able to cut off Qvo.
Oh, the damage is good from PandaCat there, and Qvo's in a lot of trouble. Jukes are good, but the problem is like you said, Mike was rotating around the corner. He'll escape the Unchained with the dash, but he won't escape the Brutalize. PolarBearMike, 3, 2, and 3. Can we just notice both the supports with 3 kills so far in this set?
Solid pathing, though, from Mike, just understanding that the only direction left for Qvo to try escaping is upwards. He used that blink to try and find a pick onto Arkyll, but I think Qvo also did it just a second too soon, because it was actually PandaCat who started backing slightly after Arkyll, so he might have been expecting PandaCat to leave, meaning that it would only have been Qvo and Arkyll.
Trixtank and Variety both know this Fire Giant's underway, but look at this. Mike just picks up Variety very early. The juggle is good. They knock him down solo, and Variety's going to keep swooping as far as he can away from the danger. Space and time from the back from Hurriwind. Hello? What are you doing down there?
Hurriwind at Team Rival's speed buff, and probably because Dignitas knew that Rival might not have expected that through space and time from the downward direction.
Well, also, this is trying to delay the Fire Giant so that Ataraxia could get a Tier 2 tower. But Fineokay going to teleport to the Tier 2 on the left-hand side, making sure Ataraxia can't do that. Fire Giant still going for Rival. Trixtank and QvoFred and Hurriwind all around. PandaCat does not know this. He does now. He turns around. He dodges the damage. Goes all in. It's Hurriwind in trouble. The auto from Arkyll will be enough as Qvo takes to the sky.
But the Fire Giant still has yet to fall, and now PolarBearMike could be in some trouble. Qvo looking to make him the target, but Variety gets choked up in the center of everybody from Rival.
No ultimate available. Variety does go down. Meanwhile, Ataraxia converts towards the mid lane, trying to get a Tier 1 and finds it. Twig, though, looking at QvoFred, trying to push him back. The rest of Rival not on the Fire Giant anymore.
Oh,
Twig's just overstayed his welcome here.
This does not look good for CaptainTwig, but Wingblade. That's why you buy it.
Comes in handy for the slows. Crazy fight, Sacco. But who really came out on top in the last couple of minutes?
Definitely Rival. Dignitas are slowing the pacing of the game, but this has got to be a little bit of a mental blow, because every single one of the engagements that we've seen Dignitas try to hard commit to have just not gone in their favor. And now Fineokay, he still wants Qvo.
The lazy back from Qvo there, and he tried to reback again. He gets poked once, and that costs him his blink and his beads. That's too much. That can't be happening there. Great play from Fineokay, but QvoFred should have just been more respectful. Punished, and now with that, Rival are back on the Fire Giant.
And this time, it's an enhanced Fire Giant. Just hit that 25-minute mark not too long ago.
Time off the mark. And now with that Fineokay going to take out Trixtank. Hurriwind coming in to try and secure. Has to go in the flame soon. Unstable Vortex connects, but it's not enough just yet. Mike leaps out of the pit. Looks like Rival trying to reset, or are they? Arkyll still whacking away, and so is PandaCat. Hurriwind around the back with the Unstable Vortex. It's Arkyll too. The flames burn him down, and he's going to rewind. Dignitas, they steal the Fire Giant!
They steal the Fire Giant, but they might not have stolen the victory of the fight just yet. Arkyll still looking to give chase. Got Qvo landing right behind him through the Cosmos. Beads and Aegis, but Arkyll's going to fall.
Ataraxia still alive, trying to sustain us. Mike jumps in on him looking for the kill. The apple does not connect, but the purple carpet of death will. Both carries now down as Twig was looking for an execute. He'll end up getting Fred, but he'll go down in trade. Back in the fight, Fineokay versus Hurriwind. This is a mess. There's only 2 members left on each team, and the 2 members with the Fire Giant are Team Dignitas.
No use crying over spilled milk, though, if you're a rival. They did what they had to do there in that situation, Hindu, and that's look for the fight immediately after losing the Fire Giant to Dignitas. Dignitas were low. They were taking a lot of poke from Rival, and I'm honestly kind of surprised that Rival committed so hard to that enhanced Fire Giant. I understand that they'd already expended a lot of their HP and a decent amount of abilities on the objective, but at a certain point, even when you have a pretty commanding lead, and I do want to say this is a fairly commanding lead from Rival,
yeah.
that just felt so 50-50.
I agree. I actually look at that fight and I feel like Rival's comms there, they were split decision. It looked like some wanted to stay on the Fire Giant, others wanted to take the fight. And at the end of the day, they did both, and it cost them the Fire Giant, but the fight after the fact at least neutralized some of the advantage Dignitas could have got from that. This Fury will help out Rival to keep the gold lead, as well as a bit more pressure now from these minions that were stuck.
The only thing that Dignitas really accomplished, though, with that Fire Giant steal, since their 3 carries ended up dying, is a delay in game right now. Rival, I think, are still on the offensive. They're still in the driver's seat from my point of view. And right now, Qvo's just got to be careful because CaptainTwig's trying to remind him that you can't just split push for free all the time.
Talking about split push, Hurriwind now on this left-hand side. They've actually started to send Ataraxia to the fray now. Try and use these space and times for rotations, I'll be honest, and maybe get a cheeky tier 2 tower on the left-hand side. Dignitas going to surrender the Pyromancer. Doesn't give you a lot of gold, but a bit of mobility from base can be useful. Hurriwind, as we said, has space and time ready. If he needs to help his team, he'll get there, but at the moment, he's doing a good job in pressuring this left-hand lane.
Should be about 1,500 more gold, though, for Dignitas. That T2 tower should end up falling here, so Hurriwind able to back to base and help rally up with the rest of Dignitas to try and defend their right side T2.
Trix blinks in, onto 2, stuns him in place. PandaCat under pressure, uses Nagus very early on to avoid the QvoFred damage that came down from the Duck. PandaCat on 2 health, and the backline has to get away from the danger, as Variety's still trying to pressure on into him. Meanwhile, Mike's trying to peel the best he can, but he's still giving a window for Qvo to get in. He used Hurriwind's portal to get to the backline. Next up, Trixtank trying to get onto Fineokay and Twig, gets a stun on both. QvoFred has done the damage he needs to, forcing Twig to dash away. Variety, full health, still wants to keep this pressure going.
This is getting messy now for Rival. Qvo gonna find the blink, Acorn Blast onto PolarBearMike. Slowed down though for only a second, but he's gonna be able to catch up with that Acorn Flurry, and no chance at all for PolarBearMike to escape this time around. Now Dignitas, couple of deaths for Team Rival. They've got the 5v3 advantage.
But nothing to do. Like, they can get a red buff on this left-hand side.
They can get a T2 tower on that left-hand side because that creep wave earlier apparently was not enough to kill it.
Agreed, and I think that's the awkwardness here, where I'm like, well, they chased on for kills there, Taco?
But they punish Rival heavily on that right side T2 tower attempt, and I think it's just a friendly reminder to Rival. They can't just do whatever they want anymore.
Arthur's learning that a full build Jabberwocky does do damage, but so does Ataraxia, realizing the CaptainTwig's here with the Achilles, and he'll get credit for the kill, but Arkyll did a lot of the work, but Arkill's under pressure from Trix now. He'll get a kill on his former teammate and duo lane partner, and now with that, Dignitas still in a 4-on-3 situation.
Arkyll probably just crying right now after getting whacked by that through space and time. That would have been a promising turnaround moment for Team Rival, especially since that T2 in mid is looking awfully low there for Dignitas, but Fineokay at least had a chance to back to base, and with both the Hunters being off the map for 30 seconds longer or so, this is probably just going to be an instant of both of these teams looking to push the waves back out into each other's sides' respective favors.
You called it a little bit earlier on, Taco, about how the last Fire Giant was a delay of game and allows Dignitas to farm up a little bit more. Well, that fight as well was the same sort of thing. It was a delay of game. We saw a bit of a skirmish where many people died, but realistically, what did we lose? A tier 1 on the left-hand side, tier 2 on the left-hand side, which was already weakened. Dignitas didn't really find anything to capitalize off that engagement. I think the chase onto Mike may not have been the right call. Maybe a tower in mid, maybe a tower in right. They had the team with them.
Dignitas spent too much time, I think,
Exactly.
looking to kill Mike. It took him about 10 or 15 seconds too long, and 10 or 15 seconds might not feel like a lot of time, but Hurriwind's already trapped in the air.
Wow,
for 3.
Hurry did not use his beads. He had beads available. He could have cancelled that ultimate, but chose not to. I think he thought he could still get away.
I think he was expecting the burst damage to not be as impactful,
Yeah.
but CaptainTwig made it that way.
Big play from Fineokay there, though, to find that, and now the setup is here for Rival to siege tier 2 middle. With minions in tow, that'll go down relatively quick. And Rival fall back, take away the red buff from Dignitas' jungle, looking towards the Fire Giant, which has respawned once more.
If Rival run into any issues, though, with sieging on these structures because they have magical damage, or Chrono's arguably one of the best hunters, though, for seizing towers, but I definitely wouldn't mind seeing him maybe swap out a little bit of that physical protection for like a Polynomicon, for example, but the damage spread has definitely been strong enough from Team Rival that I can understand why he doesn't feel like it's necessary here.
PandaCat stuck in mid lane a little bit here because QvoFred's pressure in this. They've left him on defense while the rest of the team tries to get a tier 2. Beautiful 3-man stun from Trixtank after that blink, and it forces Rival away for the time being. Space and Time was fired from Hurriwind. Didn't find a home.
Took a while to get there too, I think, but I'm pretty sure Hurriwind just respawned, so might have been expecting Team Rival to want to play a little bit more aggressive there, but Rival, they've got their eyes set, I think, on the next enhanced Fire Giant that has just freshly respawned. If they could secure that solo side T2 tower from Dignitas, awesome, but no reason to die over it, especially when that FG is just respawned. They'd rather put all their focus, I think, back over to this big objective, because if Rival gets the enhanced Fire Giant, Dignitas holding onto their base might be a very similar story to how it felt for Rival in Game 1.
Well, the one team that'll be very excited about this set so far today is going to be the Pittsburgh Knights, because they will play Rival tomorrow. And getting to see Rival in action against Dignitas is a good little test to see how they're going to deal with certain situations. Knights may have some good questions for Rival now. They may have found some little weak points they can try and exploit. So Rival definitely have an uphill battle. At the moment, they're just trying to battle back to a 1-1 scoreline in this set against Dignitas.
PolarBearMike, though, got the nice Unchained stun, but it's all about Qvo going onto Arkyll in the back line. Arkyll, though, sitting at only half health. Might get the rewind off, and he does!
Just in time, but he's still in the danger zone. He gets a cooldown reset and looks at QvoFred. Qvo loses half his health, but he's still not dead just yet. Variety, meanwhile, did take out PandaCat, who wasted most of his abilities trying to help out Arkyll. Trixtank getting focused by Arkyll, but Arkill's going to turn around and won't know him. Ataraxia and Hurriwind are in tow. Variety just tier 2 teleport, is that what happened there? I think he was trying to base tier 2 teleport, but it didn't work out well. Still though, a 4-on-4. Watch Variety, he's swinging around the corner.
Fineokay, though, on the run. Ataraxia is swinging with a fury right now. He's been abused by these frontliners all game long and is looking for it no more, but up into the air he goes. Oh. CaptainTwig bringing him immediately back down.
Yeah, great work from Twig there to use the setup from Fineokay to find the kill, but Arkyll's still low. He's still alive. Trix trying to beat him down just by one ability. Great CC from Mike to slow it. Hurrywind's trying to get in range. Can he find a pull? Threshold used. Still diving in on the back of this. Trix is on his own. How are you going to find it? He does with the unstable vortex, but was it worthwhile? We'll find out. Trixtank's still trying to get away from CaptainTwig and Fineokay on the right-hand side.
Oh my god, CaptainTwig is so fast. He is sprinting at Trixtank. I can just hear him. The whole 9 yards, and he's going to catch him at this rate.
Well, root will connect. Oh no, it won't. The stun will come into place. Then Trix trying to juke around the minion, slow him down. And there comes a teammate. Of course, it's QvoFred, keeping Trixtank alive. And now it could be Twig's in trouble.
CaptainTwig is fast, but he's not faster than a squirrel. Qvo is going to wind up cleaning CaptainTwig for that chase, and now Fineokay going to meet a similar fate there. Hurriwind still lurking on the map.
And the respawns get longer. 50 plus seconds now on Fineokay respawning. You saw PandaCat sat around the Fire Giant pit waiting for his team to start it up, but it's not going to happen now. Instead, it's Dignitas with a window to be able to look to secure up around these objectives, get some wards down, and maybe look for a cheeky pick or two in a 5-on-3 situation.
It'll be a close one, Nindu, that's for sure. No teleport available either for Fineokay when he respawns.
Oh my god,
I'm not sure Dignitas know.
Look at that left-hand side. See how many minions are there in red? That's 2 minion waves, and I think one of them might still be an Oni minion wave as well. I'm not sure, but a lot of minions on the left-hand side. It's a 3-on-5, which means that someone's going to go and defend that. 2 versus 5 of the Fire Giant. Dignitas going to get themselves an enhanced Fire Giant due to the state of all these wild fights.
That's all that Dig needed, though, from Rival. They just needed a couple of picks, and that definitely solidified, I think, the uncontested Fire Giant in my eyes, and dude, just because if Rival wanted to send PandaCat or Arkyll to look to play defense there, they're just going to get controlled and deleted before they even have a chance to try and even use their abilities, I think, for a steal. The only real member from Rival that could have maybe looked to contest there is Mike, but even then, is it really worth sacrificing your Fenrir for a small possibility of stealing this Fire Giant? I don't think so. I think that Rival just continue to play things off of their own base defense now, but they've already shown that they can go toe-to-toe with this Dignitas team, so I don't think that it's as concerning as it might have been for them to lose that Enhanced Fire.
This has been action from minute 1, the whole time. 23-17 in terms of kills, and I've not even looked at the player damage. I just did, and then felt like it was a graphical error, but it's not. That is King Arthur with an insane amount of damage. Double anyone in the game. That's okay.
That's kind of gross.
That's sick.
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I thought Varieties was up there, and then Varieties.
Like that from like an Arp Wash and a Giannis who's at millions. It's like a Toth, right, back in the day. But woo, now Fineokay is on the run along with Rival as Cubo comes dunking in. Darkest and Night's going to cause a lot of problems for the comms of Rival, and already they lost PandaCat in the fray. The Phoenix under threat. Ataraxia trying to whittle it away. Minions are causing a problem, but still Trixtank doing a good job of taking it up along with Variety. Mike was hanging around, but the Phoenix is already gone. Great work from Dignitas.
That through space and time in Darkest Night was just perfect. The placement, the execution from Dignitas, and the absolute smothering of Team Rival. PandaCat had nowhere left to run, even though he was trying to.
And now a 5-on-4 again. 40 seconds on PandaCat respawning. Trixtank shoring up the front line once more. Waiting for a window for Ataraxia to come in, but as soon as he steps forward, so does Fineokay. Paul comes into play. QvoFred now back in the fight too, trying to keep the Hunter safe. But Ataraxia under pressure, gets support from Trix and Cuvo. Combination of Dignitas working well together to peel for the back line, and now it's another Phoenix under threat.
It's going to send Ataraxia looking for somewhere to farm, though, just so he can try and resustain a little bit here. But he does have that Fire Giant for a little bit longer, and with 2 Phoenixes already down for a Rival, this base collapse is happening at a much faster rate than I was anticipating him to. And I think that that's, again, all due to Hurriwind finding a massive through space and time off the back of Ataraxia's Darkest Night.
Trixtank going to go in with the team and Variety in. So Variety going to resustain up, but they're out of minions, and PolarBearMike collapses, looks for Ragnarok on to Variety, who took a portal the wrong way, I think, there. So he had to use his ult defensively. Even though Dig is still looking for this right-hand Phoenix. They've got 2 down already. QvoFred in the sky with diamonds, looking at Arkyll. Gets the beads, gets the Aegis, and also gets hit by the ultimate from Fineokay. But the rest of his team have had a window to take down the final Phoenix. This is Dig's game to lose now.
This is Dig's game to lose, very much like it was Team Rival's to win. Hindu, it was Rival who was so far ahead of Dignitas, so controlling in every single one of these team fights. And I can't help but wonder the same thing that all of Rival is probably thinking about right now too. Should we have 50-50 that initial Fire Giant?
Is that where it really went wrong? You feel like
think that
just gave him a window,
because it
right?
gave Dignitas delay.
Trix.
And sometimes game delay is important.
Little bit too far forward on the lazy back there, I think, and he's got himself picked up in the jump. He might not have been lazy back, actually could have been just looking for a ward and hoping his teammates would get back, but he gets picked off. And it buys a bit of a window for a Rival to push out the waves at least.
Check this out from Arkyll also. Got rid of that Jade Emperor's crown and switched it up for a Mantle of Discord. So Dignitas, as tough as it might have been, has definitely been breaching into the backline of Rival and repeatedly threatening PandaCat and Arkyll, just making their lives hell trying to find the openings. And Rival, having had all 3 of those Phoenixes siege now, they don't have a choice but to keep these lanes as far pushed as possible and to fight outside of the base. But if they push too far, there's always the risk of a backdoor opportunity.
This is definitely, Taka, one of those games. If Dignitas do go on to win this game, they'll be very happy. This will be a boon in their cap, so to speak, of being down and actually quite a few thousand gold as well against Rival and battling back in for the win. Whereas Rival, this could really hurt morale. You know, you get a good lead, everything's working out as intended, and then a couple of mistakes, and you're 2-0 down.
And I'm starting to wonder if those small misplays are coming as a result of this team being newly formed and the comms not being all there, or what. But this is the second game now that we've seen a lot of hesitation surrounding a really big objective, and Rival maybe not as, I think, unanimous as they might have initially believed.
Well then, Rival pushed out all their lanes and tried to pressure around Firegiant, looking for a cheeky pick there you just saw. But QvoFred on the left-hand side, recognizing this left-hand Phoenix is going to respawn soon, brings the fire minions down, applies some pressure, and allows Dignitas to get control of the Fire Giant pit once more. Now it's up to them to get the Fire Giant as Rival look for a counterplay. Looks like they're going to try and defend this Fire Giant here. This could be the last-ditch effort, maybe, with how deep they're all going here.
Well, if they want a last-ditch effort, it has to involve Arkyll being there, because Arkyll's not going to get there anytime soon. He's still pushing out fire waves from the left-hand side, and this is more along the lines of what I was expecting to happen, Hindu. Rival kind of faint towards wanting to give contest against that Fire Giant, but in the end, they know there's just too many fire waves to deal with, so they're just going to have to fall back, let Dignitas collect yet another enhanced Fire Giant, and pray that they find the damage they need to bring down Dig before they have a chance to push in past the Phoenixes.
Well, gold doesn't mean too much at this stage of the game, but the Fire Giant will help him bring it down quick. It will only take a few seconds for Dignitas to kill a Titan's life at this stage of the game, especially at 42 minutes in now. Look at the left-hand side, and that's exactly where you'll start to see Dig group, the left and middle of the map, as those Phoenixes are the first to respawn. Patient game from Dig, though, at this stage. They're not barreling down looking to end. They're going to take it slow and look for an opportunity.
I believe this is the last fire wave that Rival are going to have to worry about, at least from the left-hand side. Right and mid, completely different stories. Dignitas looking to ride in with this fire minion waves, too, and they can take their picking. And whether it's mid lane or the far side, solo side, Dignitas are just free to do whatever they please right now, so long as they have that enhanced Fire Giant around them, and Rival just scattering to try and pick up the pieces.
The one thing I've noticed so far, Taco, is this King Arthur versus everybody matchup, you know, in general of how King Arthur's been so far. Even though Kamazots can cause some problems for him, he needs to be taken away. That's just confirmed in this game.
I'm going to say he did 25 to 30k damage in the early game.
Here we go, all in on Trixtank. A lot of CC chains combined to bring up Trixtank and bring him back into the tower range. Trix was too far forward, gets executed for his indiscretions. Now, though, the pressure is on the left-hand side still. They get a pick, but they still lose the left-hand Phoenix. Arkyll was defending right, and Qvo was pressuring mid, and Qvo goes back to mid as Hurriwind has to beads and pull away from Fineokay. But Qvo will probably die here. Oh, that was a big old mantle of Discord to save his life. Mike going to try and give chase, but the blink from QvoFred gets him away from the danger. 2 Phoenixes down. 4 on 5 for a moment.
They just can't close it out.
Nope.
Dignitas, try as they may, Rival just keeps pushing back with all of their might, refusing to let this one slip through their fingers.
They're just trying to hold on. There's always a way back into the game, especially with the respawns. You hear as the game goes on, Tackle. We always talk about the respawn times, because a minute in Smite is such a long period of time.
If Dignitas wipe, Rival can end. They just run it down mid, like we've seen so many teams do before, and that's their comeback opportunity, which is why I think we saw in that instance Mike looking to still try and be aggressive with Qvo, and Qvo not looking to take any chances and just using that blink to get away. Most of the fight is already dissipated. You shouldn't bother risking yourself, understanding that Trixtank's going to be respawning, but you don't want those staggered death timers, because then that also gives Rival a lot of openings, I think, to continuously push into the jungle like we've seen them do so many times before, trying to find an awkward pick against Dignitas.
Talking about awkward pick, that's what they're trying to do now, all wrapping around this left-hand side. They're allowing Arkyll to pressure, making it look like Arkyll's on his own in this left, but it's not true. The one thing they've got to be careful about with Dignitas, though, is the through space and time. You can dropship them to that Titan room and cause a lot of problems. And you saw Rival set up for a second, realized there was pressure on the right and have to fall back, because that's where Dignitas are looking now. The right-hand Phoenix, the final one, is still standing.
They still got that enhanced Fire Giant for just a little bit longer here, as indicated by that glowing purplish red around Ataraxia, Variety, Hurriwind. Even Qvo still has his enhanced.
Minions being cleared out. Qvo going to ult very early on. Stunned in places, Fineokay as Variety goes to the back line, taking on PandaCat. PandaCat uses the apple, but good ultimate from Variety buys him enough time to get away. Trixtank with credit for the kill. It's 1-for-1 as both mid laners are dead.
Fineokay managing to find that pick onto Hurriwind was huge for Team Rival, and Dignitas, they're going to have to leave with their tails between their legs. They're not going to get this right-sided Phoenix, despite the fact that that looked like it was going to be a very convincing and one-sided fight for Dignitas. Fineokay just keeps making these miracles happen.
45 minutes in, and both mid laners dying there. Just slows the game down again. It's going to probably be another 5-10 minutes, I'd say, before this one ends now. The frustrations that Rival are causing for Dignitas, though, this is a game that they should be able to close out, but they're just being frustrated with the last line of defense every time.
Rival know it, and they are doing everything in their power to bring this match back into their favor. But as these timers keep building up, Kronos is getting more and more powerful. He's bound to have a decent amount of stacks now in that Kronos passive.
It's a weird situation to realize this is only game 2, especially because this year is all best of 5s. We've not seen too many best of 5s apart from at the big LANs, the World Championships and such is where we see them. But now we're going to see them each and every week. Stamina is going to become a big thing, Taco. Not just for the players, for the casters too. This is only game 2.
Essentially 2 hours for 2 games.
Yep, it'll keep going as well, I think, with how this is going to be. Especially if Rival win this, it guarantees a 4th game.
And it's a bit of a nail-biter for both of these teams too, Hindu. That's the interesting part, because at any moment, Rival might just get whacked by a through space in time, which is why they have to play reserve to a certain extent. And Dignitas, with all of these enhanced fire giants, still unable to bring down the final killing blow.
This is the same sort of situation we saw moments ago now. Left-hand Phoenix and middle Phoenix about to respawn for Rival. Dignitas getting themselves another enhanced fire giant. Round, what, 52 should we say? Let's go round 52, that sounds about right. In 47 minutes in, as the pyro goes down as well.
I gotta say too, I feel for PandaCat in this situation, because he is definitely being made the target from Dignitas. You just see Trixtank, Qvo, Variety. Those are the same 3 faces on top of this Discordia, in and out of every single one of these engagements. And it is giving Arkyll some room to work with, as well as Fineokay, I think, having some promising moments to look to punish on Hurriwind or Ataraxia in case the front line from Dignitas goes too deep. But not having this Discordia, Strife, or Unruly Magics to have to consistently worry about in these sieges has definitely made things a lot easier for Dignitas. But this is the first time in a long time that we're going to see Rival with all 3 of their Phoenixes back up and at a decent recovery level.
Well, last time Dignitas managed to be in this situation, they took 2 Phoenixes and lost some lives, but at least got the Phoenixes back down. You were mentioned a lot about the pressure onto PandaCat. I will say Hurriwind's had just as much pressure from Twig and Fineokay, though. He's been removed from the game a couple of times now without a chance to answer back. Both these mid laners are definitely the focal points of damage and could swing a fight. It's just whichever one can land the abilities best at this moment in time.
Rival, though, poised and ready to go on this left side Phoenix. We've seen this one 10 times over now, Hindu. I mean, I've honestly stopped keeping track, but Dignitas look like they're ready to hit the gas pedal any second now.
Bit of a difference in displaying here. There's pings going down in King Arthur, who's in the mid lane here. Fineokay is trying to rotate to the left, but he's on a ward, and Qvo knows it as well. Don't think Fineokay realizes Qvo is sat behind him, just watching, waiting for the king to choose what he's going to do next. Hurriwind going to potentially come over and collapse as well, put a bit of pressure on there. Slow, patient from Dignitas. It's not a blink and go situation just yet. They're waiting for the right window.
Dignitas got the wave. Trixtank going to be the first one in, but it's PandaCat trying to fight for his life here up against Variety, juking every which way he can, but it's just not enough. The egg is going to have to come out. He's still on the run.
He's still alive, but with the dunk from Qvo, that'll miss it. Bought him enough time, though, for Variety to find the kill. The Phoenix is still alive. Ataraxia got pressured out, so he can't get the damage on, and there's no minions. Variety hung around too long. Rival get the kill, and onwards they march. Rival starting to pressure Trix. The fatal strike off the mark. Trixtank trying to buy time for cooldowns from his team, and he gets some help.
Oh, Fineokay just barely managing to bring down Trixtank in the end here, but it could cost him his life, and it will. Ataraxia and Hurriwind combining forces there. Unstable Vortex into the auto off the portal. PolarBearMike and Arkyll, though, I don't think Dignitas can end here.
Arkyll has no ultimate, neither does PolarBearMike. Relic situation, both down for the side of Rival. But they do, just by standing around, force Dig not to go for a cheeky end. Instead, they're starting to pressure the Phoenix in mid lane.
And I gotta say it, Twig hates himself right now. If he lands that fatal strike, the entire outcome is so different.
Is that Twig's fault, or is that more jigs from Trix?
I mean, both sides.
Yeah.
You can't miss those, but at the same time, Trixtank definitely had the Nikes on.
Really trying to cause some problems here. Mike gets his ultimate back and picks up Ataraxia. Space and time through the corner, didn't find a home at all. Ataraxia and QvoFred trying to front line as Arkyll's whacking away, but Arkyll goes down, as does QvoFred. Mike has done some good work. 3 seconds left on PandaCat. I think it's going to continue. We won't see an end just yet.
This is so back and forth between these two teams. I mean, I'm practically holding my breath on some of these engagements. It's just Dignitas and Rival. It's almost like when an unstoppable force meets an impenetrable wall.
Is that what the line is?
I think so.
I wasn't going to joke with you. I was just like, oh, is it? Because I've heard so many different variations of that. I'm like, what? Is that
I think there's a
Toei?
lot of different ways to
There
say
is.
it, to be honest.
I think we're going to say Toei's right.
I just picked 2 words that I liked.
And
Unstoppable.
Otter wasn't in there? Shame on you. You said 2 words that you like. You didn't say Otter.
Artio.
Otter.
Arter?
Otter.
Otter!
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Are you trying to say I don't speak English now? Is that what you're
No,
doing to me?
your accent is too thick.
I'm sorry, this game just made me... You know, there's so many English players in this. You know,
I thought
UK
you were saying
represents-
Arthur over and over again, and I
Otter.
was like, Arthur's
Otter.
not one of my favorite words.
Otter. I just don't pronounce T's. Fire Giant, sick of saying it, is about to respawn. Again?
Fire Giant's a bait.
Is it at this point?
It starts to feel like, okay, so there's like a ranked agreement. I know this isn't a ranked game, but I feel like this game has gone on long enough that you guys can listen to my incessant rambling now.
Go for it.
Here's the thing about Fire Giants. Whenever it hits 40 minutes plus into a game, I think that most people would agree Fire Giant just begins to feel like a trap. And not a trap in a bad sense by any means, but it's just Dignitas are waiting around for the Fire Giant, Enhanced Fire Giant, and I think that they could maybe instead use this time because Rival know to expect Dignitas at that Enhanced Fire Giant. So what if Dignitas, instead of going for the Enhanced Fire Giant, just look to group and gather somewhere in the jungle, probably near Gold Fury, and whoever's pushing, you through space and time to them and look
Here's
for a
the play.
kill.
They're looking for a play on QvoFred. Space and time fired off. Did that anyone? No, I don't think so. I think he'll slip the net. CaptainTwig may not, though. CaptainTwig very far forward, trying to chase away the members of Dig from the other half of the map, and Twig's just trying to buy time now. If he gets out, it'll be good, but I don't think Qvo will let that happen. Meanwhile, Trixtank in mid lane got a little bit pressured there, a little bit too far forward, but he's got Ataraxia behind him now. It's 4 on 5. 2 Phoenixes down. Dignitas have the Fire Giant, and they're up 1-0.
That was almost good for CaptainTwig. If he actually managed to find some form of a turnaround onto Qvo, then maybe we see a little bit
Well,
less from Dignitas there. But Rival pushing forward, I think, is also super important because it made Dignitas hesitate, I think, as to whether or not they should chase CaptainTwig. Don't want to invest too many forces onto that Achilles run. Otherwise, you never know if Rival try to collapse on your own backline.
good news is they did get QvoFred's ultimate, his beads, and his blink. Fineokay, though, is a little bit far forward. They're looking for speed buff. Gets poked out. Round the corner come Rival, looking to collapse some variety. Left-hand side, QvoFred finds PandaCat, and the duel's going on between the two. The apple came into play. There's no beads available. Oh, the purple carpet of death didn't connect. QvoFred will survive, but he has to go back to base.
Panda just needed the auto, but couldn't find time to weave it in
Holy
there.
magic, man. If one of the stars would have connected, that would have been enough too.
Well, left side Phoenix will respawn, and because PandaCat held his own, he's actually, I think, saving Rival here pretty big because they're going to be able to get this left side Phoenix up and running, but they've got to be careful. Panda might actually have to sacrifice this. I take that back because there's a lot of forces right now for Dignitas stacking up on this right-hand side.
Don't forget there's Oni minions in the fray as well. The Oni Fury went down moments ago, so these minions are causing a couple more problems too. They're a bit more enhanced, and that's keeping them well down. Left Phoenix is up. Middle Phoenix about to respawn. That's why Variety's trying to keep the pressure in this lane. QvoFred turns his attention to the left. And PolarBearMike left there, looking at Variety, trying to make sure he stays honest with his position and isn't too far forward.
CaptainTwig, though, taking a decent amount of poke here, just trying to play defense on this mid-side Phoenix. With the mid-side Phoenix having just respawned, Dignitas now looking to pressure out right heavily. Ataraxia chunking away at the last remaining Firebird here, and now Rival trying to make a last stance, I think, on the left side.
Yeah, left-hand Phoenix is the only one remaining. Variety forced to ult away. Trixtank needs some help. Space in time for Variety. The unstable Vortex hurt Arkyll, and that forces the rewind out. In the skies, QvoFred as Hurriwind gets taken down by Arkyll as he got brought into the clutches thanks to the ultimate out from PolarBearMike. Still the fight going on, though, as QvoFred dashes to the back line and picks up the PandaCat and takes the kill. Arkyll's Aegis on cooldown. He's trying to run back to base and clear minions on the way. The Titan's still alive. All 3 Phoenixes are about to not be as the left one falls down to the minions. And Dignitas are in the same state they were about 20 minutes ago. All 3 Phoenixes of Rivals are down, but both the mid laners are too.
Can I keep it real with you for a second, Hindu?
Yeah?
I've had to use the bathroom for at least 15 minutes now.
This is why I'm standing and jiggling on the spot
I
as well.
have really got to pee.
We've got to get used to this, man. I think some of the games this season are going to just keep going this long, especially if it'll be best of 5s too. Dignitas haven't given up completely though. They didn't pull all the way back. They kind of lured Rival into the fight, but it looks like Rival were ready for it. Blinking, Ataraxia forced to Rising Jaguar away. Twig trying to chase down onto Ataraxia as well. The Aegis will absorb some of that damage at the same time. Twig under a lot of pressure though, and the branching bowlers are doing a lot of work in the late game now. One by one, Rival's frontline falls as Fineokay. He did over 60k worth of damage, but it won't be enough to find the win. Instead, Dignitas are going to take this 2-0 so far.
I don't even know. Well, PolarBearMike does end up killing Qvo in the end there, but Dignitas more than happy to let their jungler go for the Titan room instead. And still, really well played from both of these teams. Rival, even after things shifted out of their favor, I think from some slight miscommunication surrounding that very first Fire Giant, they fought tooth and nail to try and bring this one back to them.
A real test for both these teams coming in today as well. I mean, obviously, Rival's first set up against Dignitas, not an easy team to take on, but Dignitas were down in considerable moments in that set. Fineokay's performance with CaptainTwig through the early mid-game, fantastic. Kept the pressure going the whole way through on Dignitas, but then one mistake, and it started to even out once more.
Really great recovery, too, I think, from Variety. He was soloed a couple of times in the early game, even from Fineokay, and his mental state still never really seemed to deteriorate, and I think that that's also a clear indicator of a team that is willing to back up, and I think that they were all just kind of gassing each other up, helping to keep themselves in a really strong mental state here.
When we talk about mental state, after losing a game that long, it's a difficult climb back into it, but Rival now need to win 3 in a row. Let's find out what the desk has to say about that amazing game.
3 in a row is absolutely the goal, and if you ask this guy, I think it's absolutely attainable, and I'll dive into that in just a little bit. Tom and Toli on the desk. If you're just joining us, game number 2 in the books here for Rival versus Team Dignitas. Dignitas got a chance to play last week, so that might be why they're a little bit warmer, Toli, but here, Rival certainly heating up.
They showed up to play for sure. Their defense in the late game is impeccable. They just have to worry about some of their small little mechanical decision making. CaptainTwig missing that fatal strike on that left side Phoenix defense could have really brought them back into the game. And then another instance when he got caught out after the Fire Giant bought as much time as he could, but it just wasn't enough.
One of my favorite things about this new season is getting a chance to see the actual players here, because I think that the body language and what you're able to see on a player's face speaks volumes. Team Dignitas don't look comfortable after this win, and they shouldn't. I think that Team Rival made a number of adaptations. PandaCat, and I'm going to start with this middle lane. PandaCat, as we watch him die here, looked so much better on the Discordia than he did on the Giannis. Just more options, more buttons to press, and frankly, just more PandaCat.
It also enabled a lot of damage onto Fineokay's Arthur. He was like top of the player damage charts for most of that game. And this right here, that 34.5 minute mark engage, that was when CaptainTwig was tower diving Trixtank since like where his tier 1 tower used to stand.
Ooh.
Some of those decision makings from Twig, not at his peak performance, at least in game number 2. He needs to clean it up a little bit as we're approaching game 3.
The numbers tell a very different story than the win-loss column. 9, 6, and 13 for Fineokay. CaptainTwig on the Jungle Achilles, 6, 8, and 12, very respectable. And Arkyll, 9, 5, and 7. PolarBearMike 5, 4, and 15 as well. This dual lane is going to get a lot of attention, and for good reason. I want to shout out the last purchase here from PolarBearMike as well, the Emperor's Armor. Just real smart, intelligent building from Rival, and ain't nobody surprised about that.
He was just having to play defense the entire game, and despite getting first blooded for PBM, he was still able to get back into the game, and it was Rival that had a huge lead in the early portion. They built like a 4,000 gold lead around the 15 to 20 minute mark, and they went for the Fire Giant at 25.5, but the steal.
Sure.
The epic Fire Giant steal. That Fire Giant was just being juggled around 10% health threshold the whole entire time. Dignitas steal it, and it was an inevitable wash because 3 members on each side ended up dying.
Man, nobody looks confident after this game number 2.
It's crazy.
You see Rival just nonstop just discussing and talking over their strategy, which I love. CaptainTwig doesn't look too thrilled, and as you mentioned, Twig missing a number of abilities. He's better than what we saw, and I think that has something to do with having less games under their belt.
Game 2 between these solo laners, it just goes to show how close these players are skill-wise, right? 4 minute mark, Variety goes 1v2 because of the gank against level for Achilles wasn't enough to kill the Camazotz. He finds the kill actually on the return and onto the Arthur, but then Fineokay, not to be undone, 13 minutes later, gets his revenge with a solo kill.
So let's go back to that Camazotz, because I was speaking very highly of it. I think this is the new tech to deal with Arthur, but like all things in Smite, nothing exists in a vacuum. Camazotz certainly not that character either. So when we saw Alpha Jackal is the coach of Team Queso that brought it out in the minor league, specifically what happened was Zotz was there. Camazotz not exactly a team fight character,
yeah.
So you have to fill that elsewhere. I needed to see more team fight somewhere else. Hurriwind on the Giannis, not exactly my go-to AoE based character, and I think that had a lot to do with kind of the lackluster finish there for the Zotz.